Hello everybody, welcome back, and it's time to fix the bug that we had. Never expected that the UI is gonna be taking this much time, but yeah, it's a bit complex one. So let's just simply work on that. So let's just simply fix it. So first of all, let's make sure that we are getting the right item. Rect. It's not about getting the right item rect, right? Because we are getting the right rectangle for sure. Think about it. This item rect is where the mouse actually entered. That is the first thing. So I'm gonna get the starting width, height, and all these things. And that's sort of fine. Then the second thing is the sub menu over here, and sub menu width and height. The width always remains the same. Height is something that changes. We have to make it constant. Sub menu rep. Change order. One 70, 139, 170. How does it increase when I move up? copy edge png, copy this. So this is the interesting. So even if we move, we get the previous element twice. Why is that so? So the sub menu width, so this is not really changing. Sub menu. Why is the value of this doesn't change? First of all, we have page alt and we have page alt here. Na, 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 na. Why is the value of sub menu ref doesn't change when I move on over and off? The key thing is to remember is that some menu ref is a ref to the DOM element, not to its content. So some menu ref current always points to the same div. React is not replacing the div when open some menu changes, it only changes its children. So what happens on the first over? Suppose open some menu is gonna be null, so the DOM looks like empty. When you hover over copy paste as this, React schedules an update. Immediately afterwards, some menu current still points to empty because React hasn't committed the new children yet. Only after React renders does the DOM becomes this. The ref itself never changes, only the DOM inside it. Why doesn't it change on the first over? Because the React batches. Okay, that's fine. As expected, so the value was empty, and then as we move, interesting, quite good stuff. So as we know the problem now, how can we fix this? You can verify this using a, we've already verified it. The correct place to read it is if you need the updated sub menu, measure it after React has rendered. So we can do one thing. What is that? So whenever the open sub menu changes, open sub menu, that simply means whenever we hover over one, it becomes true, as simple as that. Whenever we hover over it, so it just changes. Whenever it changes, I'm gonna be creating that is fine, but how to make sure that it always had the value, the right one? By default there are no children. Only when this is set the children appears. That simply means initially there are gonna be no offset. That is right. So how can I fix this? Let's see if it gives me some suggestions. Sub open. Okay, this isn't a limitation of it. So how React works? When you do sub menu, this the sequence is gonna be handle mouse enter. We are setting it over here. Console or React DOM updates the sub menu. Current is still pointing to the old contents while you are inside the event handler. That's exactly what you are saying in your logs. There's only two correct ways to get the updated sub menu. Recommended one, use layout effect. So when it comes to this, so this handle mouse enter is gonna be there, and we just simply gonna set the hover direct. Okay, and set menu. This is gonna be like this, and then this is the React way where we are using use layout effect. That just simply runs before once the DOM is ready but hasn't painted the stuff. Force React to render synchronously. If you must measure inside the event handler, you can flush sync. Flush sync forces React to commit the state update immediately before continuing. Which should you use? For the context menu that needs to measure the sub menu before positioning, I'd recommend a flush sync. This is one of the few cases where forcing a synchronous render is appropriate because you need to DOM dimensions immediately after changing the contents. Without flushing or moving the logic to use layout effect, there's no way for the sub menu current to content. So there is something called flush sync that just simply forces React commit to state updates immediately. It just simply forces it. This is one of the few cases where forcing a synchronous render, so it just simply does the synchronous updation. So let me try this thing as well. We've sort of tried everything. So this is where it needs to be. Flush sync. As expected, that's the result I wanted. Alrighty, this is done, and this is what I actually wanted it to be like. So there is something called flush sync. So that just simply updates the state synchronously directly, and it forces React to commit the state update immediately before continuing. So it does what? It just makes sure that it is committed before continuing to the next things and all. Okay, so this is one of the first ways to fix this. Now which one is better to use? Use a layout hover over it for the first time, then it will get its children elements, but at that time I need to set a menu. That simply means only after setting the menu it can, because we need to have open some menu. This is it. We can get it done in another way. And what is that another way? This is one of the first ways. How about using a ref directly instead of depending on the state? If I directly use a ref to update the value, it should not be problematic in that case. I think so. It might work. So the problem is that it needs one more render to get it right here. What I'm actually gonna do, that is instead of depending on this one, I'm just gonna say that open sub menu ref. This is gonna be use ref. It can be string or null. By default it's gonna be like this, and wherever I'm using this is gonna be open sub menu ref dot current, just like this. Same thing is gonna be this one, open sub menu ref dot current. This is the another one. So whenever we are setting this, open sub menu ref dot current, and that's gonna be set to null. As simple as that. And if I just simply get rid of it, get rid of this, and as soon as it actually starts, so open sub menu ref dot current, that is gonna have item dot label as the value. Now what will happen? That's interesting. Let's check this thing out. I'll actually have to check it here. So I actually have to get its contents dot text content. Copy paste as what did I have it here earlier? So that's the same thing we are having here, or not? Some menu current ref, that's the right one. So when I hover over it for the first time, it actually gets reached. Unexpected. Where it doesn't really have any value. It is empty. Why it is empty? Right now, what we are actually doing, we are changing the open sub menu dot current dot label directly. Once it actually changes, then we could easily just simply use it in here. So menu items, find item dot label, open menu sub menu ref dot current, and we are gonna be getting the sub value from there, but I'm not sure if it is changing on the go. This is even not fine. Let me even give it to this. Is it possible to use ref instead of flush sink? No, ref cannot solve this. The important distinction is use ref stores a value. It does not trigger a re-render. In your latest code, you are replaced state with this, and then your render becomes like this. But after this is set, React doesn't render again, so the DOM still contains the previous submenu. The ref changed, the DOM didn't. Why state works with the state this React renders React render DOM, okay, that's fine. With open submenu ref.current, it's simply ref. Can you use ref? Yes, but together with state node instead of it. So for example, so hovered current ref and then layout is gonna be used over there. So let's see how does this work here. So what we are actually doing, that is hovered react current. So ultimately we are getting whichever element we actually hovered, we are saving it inside a ref, and set open is gonna be this, and once this is done, that is it, nothing else. And after that, use layout effect. So whenever the page gets re-rendered, before the things actually gets painted, this layout effect runs. It gets the height, and then this is the idiomatic React solution. If you absolutely need the DOM immediately, then flush sync is the only way to just go ahead. If I were building Excalidraw or this, I would not use flush sync. I'd use state for open submenu, use ref hovered DOM rect, and use layout to measure the position. That's the pattern used by positioning libraries because it avoids forcing synchronous renders while it still guaranteeing accurate measurements. Interesting. So what do we have to do now? That instead of doing everything in here, what we'll do, we are just simply gonna set the state. Let's go back to the state one. किधर गए हो, किधर गए हो? Okay, this is it. So what do we have to do right now? That is, whenever the mouse enter happens, at that time I'm gonna set the current rectangle in a current hovered shape in a ref, and apart from this particular thing, we are gonna be just simply setting the values. Then re-render will happen, and when the re-render actually happens, so before things are actually, when the things are ready, at that time I'm gonna just simply call the remaining things. So this particular logic should only run when everything's ready. Everything's ready in the sense DOM is ready, but that hasn't been painted yet. So that is something can be done here. Na, 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 na. How does it work? Use layout effect. So we just need to have what? It is just like a callback, the way it works. The way we have use effect and all. It will have a callback. It will have a dependency. That dependency is gonna be something that's gonna be used inside this. Now we don't really have item rect, so the first one is actually gonna be the hovered rect ref. So let's just simply create this in here. So I'm actually gonna have forward ref use ref HTML. What is the forward one? That is actually nothing, but I don't know. Let me see. Oh no. Mouse enter, that's a div, HTML div element, right? Yeah. HTML div element, or it can even be null. We have a null value by default. When it comes to this, so whenever I am doing this, so what is the type of this? Yeah, DOM rect actually. Method returns a DOM rect. Yeah, that's right. Sorry. DOM rectangle, interesting, something new. So when we have this particular DOM rect here, so that the value is gonna be set, and it will run only when I have this item.menu, and we are gonna be just simply, meanwhile we learnt about flush sync as well, so that's good stuff. So we are just simply gonna be setting it to true, and this is gonna be set over there. Then we have item rect, so const item rect is actually gonna be forward rect dot current. Let's leave it there, that's not a big problem. Apart from this particular thing, this is actually gonna be forward rect, right? So if I don't have forward rect dot current, I'm actually gonna return from here. I can even combine both, but let us see whether it is gonna be working or not. It does what? It is just simply gonna be setting the x and y position for that. Wow. The position is 0 0. अब क्या हुआ? Position is 0 0. Why? Because by default the value is 0 0. So that is okay. It still needs to be fixed though. In that case, so many position. Let me see if I get the right ones or not. This layout is never getting triggered because it needs to depend on open submenu first of all. Finally. Oh yeah. That's how I wanted it to be. Great! Finally we did this. Ooh, took a lot of time. Okay, never mind. We even we know 2 ways to just fix this problem now. Nothing could be better than this. Console.log, it's actually been used in many places. Let's not worry about that. Okay, we've done it. And once this body ultimately when does the layout runs? Layout runs when the DOM is ready and the React hasn't painted yet. Use layout effect. use layout effect. When does it run? Use layout effect is a React hook that runs synchronously immediately after React updates the DOM, but before the browser repents that. So runs run synchronously immediately after React updates the DOM, but before the browser repaints the screen. So as the DOM is already updated, so we will already have the new menu, new elements in the menu, so that would be fine. And apart from this particular thing, we don't really need to worry about it. We are already saying that vport minus some menu that height, that will just simply work fine. Interesting, good to know that. But the only thing is that, what the hell, 400 lines of code? You got to be kidding me. Let's do one thing. How to refactor it? First of all, we have to refactor this, even if it is working, but it's quite a big one. How to refactor this? Yeah. Overall, the component is doing too many unrelated jobs. It currently manages the menu state, defines menu data, contains business logic, group frame, delete and duplicates ordering, calculates some menu positions, renders the menu recursively, knows about editor state and rendering. That's why it has 400 lines of code. I split it into few focused pieces. Move menu actions into a hook. So actions.group, actions.wrap in frame, actions.delete, actions.duplicate. Instead of having all the logic inside the component, I'm gonna be having them inside these. That alone removes around 100 lines of code. Let's do it anyway. And even in future, this action will actually have many things. So so we have used context menu, that is the hook itself. It already has 174 lines of code. So even window padding is around, just a minute, padding is 10. Window padding, this is sort of fine. Let's get more hooks over here. So we have context menu, and apart from context menu, I'm gonna have one more to just simply make sure that one hook doesn't contain everything. So use selection menu actions. Use selection menu actions. Selected shape menu. Use selection menu actions. Interesting. .ts. It will actually contain all the actions in there. Export default function use selection menu actions. This is gonna be like this. And not only that, we are gonna be using what all. So ultimately, handle group selection, handle wrap in a frame, duplicate, delete, ordering. All these things should be part of it. We have this, we have mouse enter and mouse leave. This should be here, this should also be here, this should also be here. Remaining things we'll see later. Even when it comes to order, so they can actually directly be used. So duplicate this and then simply wherever I'm using order as well, that could be straightforward as well. So we don't really need to move these from here, or we can actually. Group wrap in frame, delete instead of framing all that was inside the component. Okay, let's do that. And from the actions I'm actually gonna be getting anything. That's not really a bad idea as well. So cut everything from here, come back here, paste those things here. Quite a lot of errors in here. It's such a big one. Interesting. Pointer if that actually needs to be passed in here. Honestly, we are gonna be using quite a lot of things, and to be precise, these three things. And that simply means I can just directly pass the editor itself, but okay, never mind. Let's give it any time as what any type. Let's give it any type later. I'm gonna add this. Any is better as of right now. yeah, we need get group bounds. That is actually inside geometry. When it comes to getting a group bounds, that is okay. Let's get it from geometry. Normalized rect, that is again inside geometry, so let's get it from there. Get dimensions must be inside the geometry itself. Get text dimensions, that is what? Inside interactions. Text dimensions. Where should I keep text dimensions? Where to keep text? Get text dimensions function. So I'd avoid putting it in draw because it doesn't render anything. It only measures text. A good structure would be editor, geometry, text, and get a wrap text, get text lines, get text bounds. Or if you don't expect many text related utilities, get text dimension continuous. Interesting. Given your current project, it is gonna be somewhere like this. So bro, gonna be making a few changes now. Geometry, and I'll have few things related to text in here. And when it comes to that, so let's go to the text right now. So go to interactions and the text over here. I have the text dimensions in here, so I'll just simply move it inside this text. That is it. Happy go lucky person. Ding, 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 ding. Where is that? Ding, ding. Text dimensions. Now I need to import it from the geometry. जिंदगी एक सफर है सुहाना, यहाँ कौन क्या किसने जाना. Well, quite a lot of things that need to be changed. Never mind. Let's come back to this one first of all and try fixing this stuff. Everything is already fixed though. Group and wrap in frame and deletion, not deletion, just this much. So this is the first thing, wrap in frame. This is the second thing, group. After that, const delete. What are we gonna be doing? Const delete this. What is up, bro? Delete shape. Delete shapes. Okay. So when it comes to this, so in that case, deletion dot delete shapes. Gonna be just simply calling it, quite simpler. It could have been used directly in there, but okay, not really big problem. Let's keep everything because they are the actions after all. So this thing is done. Duplicate. Ta-da! Oh, Bhayaji. This is done. Order. Let me see, have some reviews here. Should I create functions for delete, duplicate or order, or I should use them directly? Should I create functions for order, delete, duplicate, or use them directly. I would not, but I would not create wrapper functions unless they add behavior. I'd keep the wrapper functions only if they add the value. That is what I was thinking. So let's continue with this one. So yeah, that if they add some value, when should you create wrappers? That is okay. So right now we are doing this. Don't add any value. So instead just structure the function directly and then use them there. Chalo ji, this doesn't need to be done. These two things are okay. I'm even gonna be getting rid of these from here. Close context menu. Whenever we select something, it will automatically be called, so we don't really need to call it. Selecting something triggers it, that is right. And pointer refs. So that simply means we don't need to call close pointer refs. I'm not sure whether it's gonna be needed or not, so let it be here as of right now. And if I go to this one, no. And what I'll do, I'll paste few things here. And not only that, deletion and all these things, they automatically call the render here. Invalidate, yeah, that is right. So we don't need to call the invalidate twice. And apart from this particular thing, use the selection actions. It's gonna take scene canvas, it is gonna take the pointer refs, not scene canvas actually. Menu actions actually. This should be overlay canvas. Done. Let's come back to this one and let's try using them. We definitely have duplicate, so that's duplicate shapes, that is fine. Then we have we don't have this. After that, copy. I have to work on so many functionalities, but let me see. Let's start from last. Do we have delete? Yeah, we have delete. So deletion dot delete shapes, that is it. Do we have change shape? No, we don't. Distribute vertically, center, align, bottom, nothing. Let's completely collapse this one. Align, yeah, we have this. Action, order dot bring to front. Similarly this one, order dot send to back. This one, order dot bring forward. Order dot bring send backward. Yeah, send backward, bring forward, send to back, bring to front. This is done. Group selection, interesting. Ungroup, we don't really have anything for it. Create figure, actions dot wrap in frame. Add comment, we don't have. Export, we don't have. We don't have many things. First of all, when it comes to this, so there needs to be one more, and that's gonna be group selection. Actions dot group. Forget about the shortcuts, I'm not really sure what the shortcut of this is gonna be, so later we'll make sure that it has the right shortcuts. Even we haven't really worked on that particular functionality, so no worries as such. And frame, we haven't even created the frame. Create frame is here, wrap actions, that's okay, but even more than that we are gonna have a remove frame as well. So there's kind of a lot of things. That is gonna be create figure. Create frame, remove frame, and even we are gonna have more things. Well, literally we have to work on quite a lot of things. Okay, as of right now this is sort of done. We have many things to just simply work on, so let's just simply collapse it all. This is too much here. Anyway, reload the page. Let's draw something once drawn. One more thing that I missed, that is if I hover over outside of it, then mouse link should be so okay, just a sec, one more thing here. Handle mouse link, we have, where are we calling this? So whenever handle mouse leave this, fixed, why is that so? Insert 0, fixed is fine, z index is gonna be 50, that simply means more than anything else. Fixed is fine, but insert 0 is not fine. Even when I go to the next one, that should be changing. So this leave mouse is not good for this one, so in that case, if not here, then we'll actually have to call in for this one. Then that's gonna be bad, because if we move to sub menu, then I won't have sub menu there. That's not good. What can I do now? That's interesting. Let's have it right here, no problem as such. And when we enter, at that time I have to change this. Okay, fine. Handle mouse enter whenever we enter. So first of all, we have to make sure that the hover direct shape set open set menu item dot label, but if it doesn't have any label, then Label should ideally be changed. Okay. What can I do now? What I want that as I move from here to here, it should actually be changing. This value is changing because we are changing the label, but I don't think label is there every time. So let me just simply have a look at that. So whenever the mouse actually enters, so I'm gonna be checking the CLG item dot label. So let me check this thing out right now. Uh, yeah, that's right. As expected, those things do not have the labels. So if they do not have labels, that simply means let me check it. Normal shapes, they do have the labels. Mm, what is missing here? Even though I have the labels everywhere, but when it comes to this handle mouse enter, we get a menu item. Label can be a string. So this item that actually being passed in here, that doesn't have any label. So and handle mouse enter is actually being used inside this. So we are calling it this way, and the item that I'm actually getting, that should ideally have the label. So handle mouse enter, and whenever we click on that item actions, whatever the action that it has gets called, item will always have the action. And we are closing the context, that is also fine. And it doesn't really matter to be called here because doesn't matter where we click, we are gonna be closing the context for sure. So this is how it can be as well. And okay, this is the problematic thing. So if some menu is not there, item dot sub menu, that's not there, we return. Interesting. So the sum menu is set for all, that is right. When it's actually set for all, then we'll have to render it for all sum menu. So which way could be, if item dot sum menu is not there, then we just simply return from here, and if the value is actually there, then we do not. So the value of the set menu needs to be changed, but how? Or even better, item label is gonna be equals to open sub menu. What else can we do? That next thing can be that open menu can actually be many things. That's fine. Mm, not getting us in one way here. The thing is that if I call it mm, if I remove this return statement, so it's gonna be called every time. So item dot sum menu, it's still gonna be called. If that is true, then it becomes false. That simply means this never runs. If that is false, this becomes true and this runs. So when the false value is there, that simply means item dot sum menu doesn't have any value. Item dot sum menu doesn't have any value. Uh, what is item dot sum menu? We have it here. Sum menu is the what empty array. So by default it will have the empty array. There's nothing. That's right. So some menu will actually have some default value. Many items may have the sub menus, may not have the sub menus. That is right. If it doesn't have the sub menu, we return this. figure it out again as well. So how can I do it now? Okay, how to make sure that option to another if that is the menu, then it appears not. That's actually being still logged. And as of right now, and that is it. Then nothing happens until unless I actually click out. That simply means probably item render menu items, then we gotta have a style in here, visibility, open some menu. So if there is some menu open, if I'm actually gonna have this mouse leave in here, so if I'm actually having it just right here, then the problem is that it is gonna be okay for that but not for others. It is sort of good, but then I cannot hover over that. If some menu exists at component level and on mouse leave entry is a menu. The missing piece is that what happens when you hover another item that doesn't have some menu. Currently you do on mouse enter do this. If the next item has no some menu, you immediately return, and so some menu is left to pointing to the previous some menu instead explicitly closing it. So if it doesn't have the some menu, so it opens. What the hell? Come on, am I crazy? Literally I lose my mind. The simple problem was this, that I was still having the sum menu, so item dot sum menu. So if it doesn't exist, so ultimately it should be null. That is the only thing. So why wasn't I setting it here? But if there are some menus, then this is not over yet, right? What if that's actually some menu? So we are returning from here, that is fine. Handle mouse enter, and how about when there is a some menu? That gives you hover aligned with this even better. Instead of storing the sub menu label, store the hovered menu item itself. So activate item and this handle mouse enter hovered activate items or menu item and this and render menus activate item some menu or this avoids doing this is right. So let's go with this way as well. So I'm just simply gonna keep it there. So instead of having this open some menu, I'm just gonna have this active item and when we actually have this, so whenever the mouse actually enters, so over here I'm just simply gonna have this. So item dot some menus are actually gonna be added over there. So this is how it's gonna be going on. Event is this event over here. So let's continue with this. Seems to be fine, and whenever the mouse leaves renders, so I'm gonna be using this. That is also fine. And over here by default this is actually gonna be null, so I'm even gonna be using null in here as well very soon. And I'm gonna paste it in here. If I have active item, then only do this. It depends on the active item. Set active item to null. Just a sec. Now the only thing is that it disappears as soon as we hover over that. So mouse leave, right? So whenever we leave outside and when it comes to hovering, this is done. This is just simply set sub menu or the item. If sub menu exists, then item is set, otherwise not. Whenever we hover over it, so if it has the same menu, then item is called that. Okay, interesting. And now how to do this? There's one more problem right now. How to keep menu persistent when moving from main to submenu. The common approach used by apps like Figma, Excalidraw, VS Code is not to close the submenu as soon as the pointer leaves the main menu. Instead, treat the main menu item plus submenu as one over region. So option 1 recommended. Over menu, we are gonna have over submenu ref. So on mouse enter over main menu, that's gonna be true. On my mouse leave, this is gonna be false. Sub menu, this is gonna be the main menu section. Okay, and this is all about sub menu section request close. And then we are gonna have request close over here, request animation frame. And if I don't have any one of them, then it will be to null. And very common small close delay, scheduler, eliminate the gap. The reason menus often disappear is that there are few pixels of empty space between the main menu and the sub menu. Place the sub menu directly adjacent or even overlap by this. If there's no gap, pointer never leaves your component already has selected menu sub menu. I'll use combination of remove any gap between the menus, track over on both menus with reps delete. That's approach used by professional desktop starts context menus because it feels stable even with the. Okay, coming back to this. So we are actually gonna use it on both, and whenever leaving I'm gonna be calling this request close, and then something is definitely gonna happen just after that. Okay, let's make it quick if it actually works or not. So first of all, but there is a problem. We can use it here, right? If not anywhere else. Okay, that's fine. This is gonna be the main menu. This is gonna be the menu. Request close needs to be here, so let's just simply get the request close somewhere here. I'm just simply checking it whether it's gonna work or not, and then we have selection. So menu, yeah, set active item, that's gonna be null. Boolean is not assigned. Session menu ref okay, this is gonna be the over main menu ref. Interesting. This has been altogether a new one. In that case, I'd actually gonna keep these here. Let's just simply have them here. Once this is done, request close is gonna be done as well. Set active item, and let's check this thing out in that case. So request close, when it comes to request close, I'll actually remove it from here, and handle leave request close, set this to this, and handle mouse leave is not really getting called, so let's check this thing out. Okay, it still doesn't seem to be working, so what are we missing? If not then it should be none. But if I'm either one of them, if I'm over the, if not over the current frame and not over the this, but if I'm over this, so this is gonna be true to false, and then this will become false, and this will never run. Set active will never be null. Request close. Left, doing it, it doesn't really work, so this is done. Eliminate the gap, so left is gonna be item vector right -1, or even overlap by 1 or 2 pixels if there's no gap. So some many position that I'm actually getting. The gap is there, so I'm actually gonna be adding it now. It doesn't really matter where we keep it. So I'd better not give it any gap at all, and this is what's gonna be going on. It's just that we are missing something. So whenever mouse enters, it becomes true. Whenever the mouse is gonna enter to the main one, that simply means this main ref, I'm actually gonna set both true. If both are true, and whenever the mouse actually leaves, then one will become false, another one will still be true, and hence that should be alright. If I'm not closing this, then this is okay. This is something else is working in the background, not just this one. When it comes to that, what is causing this to actually happen? So whenever we hover, we are just simply setting it to null if the item doesn't really have that. That is the problematic thing. Mom is calling. Alrighty, then I actually gotta go right now. Probably in the evening we'll be able to fix this. Or let me do one thing. Set active item. We have to fix it later. I'm gonna be back and I'm gonna be fixing this. And let me just take the help of AI the last time. Can it fix it or not? हो जा भाई. Come on, do it. If it can fix it, then that's great. If it cannot, render minus menu list. अरे भाया इधर रखना था, इसे देना था. This network. Let me check it the last time. But there are two issues. True, this needs to be removed. On mouse enter should become false. So the mouse should become comment and use small time always to do. I'm not sure if it is gonna whenever the mouse enters. Cancel. Okay, let me see if it actually works or not. So we are gonna have this cancel close here. Request close, cancel close time ref. Don't know how many things it's actually gonna keep me here, but we'll see how it just goes on. Okay, we'll see it. Close time. sure that it does exist. But it's not really possible, I have to check it. Anyway, this is the last time I'm trying it, otherwise I'll go with something new as of right now. That simply means this is not the issue at all. Let me comment both. If I'm not wrong, something is causing it to behave like that without even these things. Okay. As expected, there is something else as well that's working behind the scenes, so we have to take care of that. So alrighty then, I'm gonna be back soon. Until then, bye bye, take care and see you.